Hi, everybody. This is your host, Kaylin Elliott. Welcome to the 6th episode of the Fastpitch United podcast. So excited for all of you to be here, and also so excited to introduce you to our special guest, Erica Beach. Erica was a fantastic softball player at Arizona State. She played in the professional leagues. She's coached. She's done a little bit of it all. Now she coaches in the FGCL League and also works for Perfect Game. So, Erica, thank you so much for being here. We're super excited to have you.
Thank you guys so much for having me. This is awesome. I'm so excited.
Yeah. So, Erica, tell me a little bit about your playing time, what it was like playing at Arizona State, going to a World Series, then also playing in the pros afterwards.
Yeah, it's so funny. Nowadays, it feels like it's such a different world. But yeah, I grew up in Arizona. I stayed close to home, went to college at Arizona State, and was a pitcher and DP there. And so I was lucky, one of the lucky ones to be able to do both in the college level, which is gaining some momentum again, which is fun.
Yeah.
Away. And yeah, I loved my time at Arizona State. I loved playing ball and went international for a year after, and then went into pro ball in the National Pro Fast Pitch League. Played on a team in Arizona for a couple of years, actually. And for those who don't know, there used to be splits. So there was like a team in California and Sacramento. There was a team in Tucson, Arizona, Texas, and we had the West Coast teams and then East Coast teams. And then we'd meet in the middle for playoffs or for like an all-star thing. It was pretty cool. And so I played in Tucson for a couple of years, played in New England for 3 years, won a championship there, and just played as long as I could. And when I stopped wanting to warm up, I decided maybe I'm done and became a collegiate softball coach. Was at Ohio State for 4 years as the pitching coach, and then head coach at the University of New Mexico for 7.
Wow. What a background. That is crazy. I was obviously doing some research on you, and I saw that you played for Sparks Harlem in the Netherlands. I did too when I graduated.
Hi.
Yeah. So I thought that was super cool. I was like, oh my gosh, I played for them. It was my second summer out of college. I went to Italy first, and then my second summer I did the AUX shortened season, and then went and played with Sparks for a little bit and played in their Euro Cup and all that stuff. So it was really cool. But awesome.
That was so awesome. What a small
I know. So cool. Okay, awesome. Tell me a little bit, how did you get into Perfect Game?
Perfect Game was really interesting. I think I was, as in everything in softball, it was people contacted me who had heard. And so I actually started with Perfect Game through a friend of mine who was talking to them about being a scout. And so I actually spoke, and at the time, Jessica Schultz and Destiny Martinez from OU were running the softball side of Perfect Game. And I spoke to them, and they're like, we need some scouts to come to our combines and evaluate the talent. And so I jumped in and was like, that sounds awesome. So I think it was back at the beginning of 22, I came in as a scout, and I would travel around to the different combines, and I was scouting pitching and hitting because those were my two big areas. So I would scout and write reports on the athletes and submit those and give them a Perfect Game grade. It was really cool. And so that's how I very first dipped my toe into Perfect Game as an actual scout. And now, and then Jessica, who was the national scouting director, she became a mom, and she wanted to, and they got to the point where she was ready just to be a mom. And so she asked me like directly if it's something that I'd be interested in stepping into. And so I spoke with the Perfect Game higher ups, and it just was a really great fit. And so, yeah, for about a little, probably like 14 to 16 months, I have been now the national scouting director for Perfect Game.
That is so cool. That is awesome. I love
Yes.
that. I love that. I love how you've been able to just be a part of softball in so many different ways, from playing to coaching and playing on all levels, and now also being a part of Perfect Game and scouting, and it's super cool. And now also you are coaching in the Florida Gulf Coast League, which is really cool. So for our listeners who don't really know much about the Florida Gulf Coast League, Ryan Moore started the league a few years ago. Is this year, your
2020 was the first year, so we're in year 6 now.
Yeah, which is crazy.
5 year 5.
Yeah.
I feel like a super senior.
Yeah.
Because I was here since day one. So I feel like I had a COVID year, and I'm like, year 5, let's roll. Like, I'm still here.
Yeah, I love it. No, I love it. I love that you've been there since the beginning. just because you've been able to truly see the growth of it, but it's been really awesome to watch. And for those of you who don't know, it is a summer collegiate league where college softball players can go and, let's say maybe they didn't get as many reps as they would have liked in their regular season, or they're underclassmen, or even considering transferring. This is a place where they can go, they can play, show their skills, hone their skills, all kinds of different things. And then two, what I love about it is that you can meet other softball players all across the country who are playing at all completely different levels and make those connections. I think that's a super cool piece to it as well. But tell me, Erica, from the very beginning, what have you seen grow the most about the league? What has really been something that has just like changed or whatever?
No, I just think the overall like excitement around the league has really grown year after year. In addition to just the amount of athletes wanting to participate, it's really cool because as an athlete back when I played, like we had major, but that was it for the summer ball. We didn't really have a lot, and you didn't have a lot of training opportunities with other high level athletes, or a lot of times pitchers were just throwing into a net and in a batting cage, and there's not a whole lot, not a lot of work you can do with live situations and stuff. And so I thought for the growth of that, like one, the excitement because people are the first year was tough just because it was new. And then each year that we've come back, and then Ryan has obviously done such a phenomenal job of expanding regionally to be able to reach more athletes who might not want to come all the way to Florida. It's been such a great endeavor to really expand that reach and to get more of these college athletes the help that they need and want, and these really great positive experiences.
Yeah, for sure. Can you tell me about maybe an experience that sticks out to you, something that happened while you were coaching there?
Every year is such an individual experience, but the overall hilarious things happen all the time. Let's be real about that. There's a lot of funny things that happen on the field and off the field in the league. But I would say probably just my favorite part about the league, and the thing that every year I experience, but differently, is the building of this sisterhood. And for some reason, I've just been very blessed with my teams. Like I've hit the jackpot every year. We haven't won the thing, but every year, I end up after 4 to 5 weeks with this group of girls who are just like sisters. And you never think you're going to make bonds with people this quickly. That's the one thing I usually tell them on the opening meeting is, okay, you're going to think I'm crazy, but after the season, like you're going to be devastated to leave each other, and and every year, tears at the last day when we're having to say goodbye, like absolute tears, having to say goodbye, feeling like you're being ripped from your family. It's so amazing to build those relationships. And like you said, them interacting with each other. Like I'm getting text messages during this season of my pioneer players that are like, and I'm also close to other players from so many of the other teams. So I'm getting messages and stuff from them, seeing other players. And it's like the funnest thing in the world.
Yeah, it blows my mind. We do with Fastpitch United a player of the week every single week. So whatever college player has really popped out that week. And we always choose someone who has played in the ACL. So any of the leagues across the US, we choose someone. And it's so easy to choose someone because like they are all just killing it. Like it blows my mind how, and honestly, majority of the players are like SEC player of the week or ACC player of the week or whatever, Suncoast, or I don't know. It's just crazy that these players are going into their college season after playing in this league and just absolutely dominating. And that was one thing that Ryan said is he said, you will not see a player who played in the Gulf Coast League or in any of the leagues really not doing well in this college season because they've been able to work in the summer and play against high-level competition. And I love the piece that you said about the relationships that they build and like crying at the end of the season. I know I've seen it firsthand. I think a good example is Ella Dodge and Brittany Purser. Ella played last season and now she's at Tennessee this year, absolutely killing it as a freshman. And then Brittany is the head coach at Walter State, which is a JUCO in Tennessee. but Brittany has been able to go watch Ella play a few times because they're not too far away. And it's just like they're taking pictures, they're posting, like Ella is going to come back. She wants to play again in the FGCL because she loved it so much. She's telling her teammates about it. And it's cool just to see like the relationships, like you said, that have been built and seeing players want to come back. I think that's really cool, is like they loved it so much their first summer, they want to come back and do it again.
Oh, yeah, that's the true testament to
Yeah.
the experience.
Yeah.
It really is. And the bond that the coaches also like with Brittany and Ella, like the bond that the coaches even make with the players is special. It really is, because we're a coach, but we're also, I consider myself a little bit more of a life coach slash psychologist
Yeah.
slash vibes coach.
Yeah.
Like I'm very, like most of the coaches in the league, it's not about redoing mechanics or anything even physical. We're just there to charge the battery back up. We're there to remind them why they love softball, because we're all a little burned out at the end of a college season. I don't care how successful you are. I don't care how amazing your college experience is. We're all burned out at the end of the season because we're just tired.
Yeah. I get it. I remember that.
Like you're exhausted.
Yeah.
And for a lot of athletes, like when they come in, because it's a couple weeks after season ends, and depending on when your season ends. And so sometimes when we come in there, it's a little bit of a slow start. For some are coming in hungry and fast and furious. It just depending on what their experience was in their college games. But at the end of the day, the point of this is to get them to love playing again, find that energy, find that passion back, and be able to do it freely without the crazy pressures of the collegiate season. They're able to work on things without the crazy pressures of a collegiate season, and work live in games without the fear of failure or any of the repercussions that might come from it. So it's like the freest way to play softball. I'm really the lucky one because I get to do the fun part. Like I just get to get them to learn how to have fun again and play free.
Yeah. And that's so important, I think, like you said, burnout is so real at the end of a season because you're, like you said, you're just tired. You're so tired and you're tired of being around the same people. And so you want to get out. And I remember my first summer after my freshman year, I was like, I don't even want to look at a softball. I don't want, I need space. Don't talk to me about softball. I don't want to be a part of it at all. So that's totally real for those girls who, like I said, maybe didn't get the reps they wanted or looking to transfer or just get better. Like this is a great opportunity for them to do that without those pressure or the pressure of the college season and other things that may come into play with school and stuff. It's just a fun experience where they can get better and find that love of the game again. And I think that's amazing. Can you tell me a little bit about what the summer looks like for an athlete who wants to play?
Yeah, it's actually a really great, it's organized in such a way that you really can, it's not an overwhelming experience on any front. I love that it has a lot of balance to it. And so typically it will run around 4 weeks. And of course, the first couple days are a little bit of a whirlwind because you're moving into our condos. You're getting your uniforms and helmets and all the things that you get, and you're meeting your coaches and you're meeting your teammates. And so the first day or two is really just the fast and furious, getting to know people. And usually there's about 1 to 2 days of workout slash practice opportunity. We either at the hitting facility or at the field. They'll usually do at least one at each so that you get a chance to get on the fields and just to knock some rust off before we just kick right into it. But it gets going really quickly once you get there. So it's really fun. It's a couple days of intro and then boom, season starts. And season really looks like typically we play, we usually only play single games, which hallelujah, if you've played college double, we usually play single games, and it's usually we play 5 days a week typically. One of the weeks we might play 6, but like it's only one a day. And I'm not sure, I think this year we might be playing in the mornings again. And so in Florida, or anywhere in the South, you know that mornings will probably be your best bet at better weather.
100%.
So we'll play. Usually there's 2 or 3 game times. We'll play, and they literally have the rest of the day. Like they can go. We're 10 minutes from the beach. There's a million things to do around there, and There's all training facilities. So we have a ton of girls that will, once we get done with games, some girls on certain days will be like, I'm going to go in and hit for an extra 30, 45 minutes. Some pitchers, if they don't throw, will go in and into an indoor and actually work a bullpen, depending on what we're working on. And one thing that the coaches in the ACL will do is at least to talk to the college coaches of the players that are on my team, because I want to make sure that we are synchronistic in our approach with the girls, because I never want to do something that the head coach or assistant coach wouldn't support or that they aren't actively teaching. I'll speak to the coaches and be like, one, is there anything that you want me to look for? Is there anything that you want me to reinforce from you? Is there anything you want me to address or teach while they're here? If not, I'm just going to charge the battery up and send you back a kid that's ready to rock. So it's really neat because most coaches are so supportive of what we do in the Florida Gulf Coast League and the ACL, is that like it's an opportunity for their athletes to get better. So what coach doesn't want that?
Right.
And to be able to get better against other really good Division I talent, especially if you look at the alumni roster of the league, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Like you literally, I was at the World Series last year and there was like 12 girls from the league in it.
Yeah.
It was craziest. And it's like they all came in when they were young, like they've become this. They weren't this when they came into the league. They came in and then became this. And I wholeheartedly think the league is at least a small piece, like not to discount all the work, but I always think the league it helps. It really does. And when they show up in the fall, they're the most prepared person in the locker room. There's no way a pitcher back at home, throwing in the backyard, maybe being able to get another catcher friend to come catch him once or twice a week. You cannot tell me that the pitcher that came in and actually threw in the league against all of these types of hitters and was able to work in bullpens and work live, there's no way that they're not better prepared than the girl that was playing in the league. And that's in position, like you know how it is, like pitchers facing hitters, nothing replaces that. And hitters facing pitchers, nothing replaces that. And defense, game speed is game speed. You can't replicate game speed quite as real in practice, no matter how hard you try, as actual game reps. And that's probably one of the coolest things is like every kid that comes in the Florida Gulf Coast League is the probably most prepared person that shows up in the fall.
Yeah. And like I've seen it firsthand too. I played at Florida State, so I played with Michaela Edenfield, and she was one of the first to play in the league. And when she came back, because she redshirted her freshman year, and so she didn't get any really in-game reps as a freshman. And so she played in the league. When she came back, she was a completely different player, but also her mentality was different. I don't really know how to even describe it, but it was just, she just seemed more prepared. Like she was ready to go in there and take over as the starting catcher. And that's what she had to do when she came in, because I was a senior. Anna Shelnut was the catcher. She was a senior. So when she graduated, Michaela had to come in and fill those shoes, and she did it. And look at her now, who she is now. She's absolutely phenomenal and has been a key role player, and also like super clutch and done some really amazing things with her bat behind the plate. And I know that she attributes a lot of that to what she experienced in the Florida Gulf Coast League. And
it's not pitching against her and having to.
No, yeah.
The worst. But I agree. I saw the confidence just bloom in her. It like by the end of the season, like she was one of the most terrifying hitters to face.
Yeah.
But as the season progressed, you could see the unsurety melt away, and just this. She left swaggy and confident, and but we know that's what makes her great.
Oh yeah,
especially like Michaela. Like it's the confidence that she exudes it on the field, and I think that's one of her superpowers. Honestly,
yeah. I agree. And that's what I said, like the mentality, just the preparedness, the confidence, like she came back and she was just a different person. And so it was really cool to see that. And I wish that the league would have been something that we had for a longer period of time. I would have loved to have played in it. I graduated after the first year, so it wasn't really an option for me, but I would have loved to have done something like that too. And like you said, there's so many fun things to do in the area playing with the Vibe. I was there. We would go to practice in the mornings and then go to the gym and work out and then go to the beach for the rest of the day. And it was just awesome. I loved it. That's a really cool thing about the Florida Gulf Coast League. But there are other leagues that have really cool things around them too. The Lone Star League in Texas, it's like right outside of Austin, which has Lord knows how many things to do there. It's huge city. And the Golden Bay League out in California. And then you've got the Scenic City League in Chattanooga, Tennessee, which I live an hour from Chattanooga. I'm in Knoxville. There's so many things to do in Chattanooga as well. I think actually it was just voted like the number one like nature city or something like that in the country. So if you like hiking and like mountains and all that cool stuff, like Chattanooga is the place for you. So there's a lot of cool things outside of just the softball aspect of it that you can experience too while playing. It's like a vacation, but also getting to play softball at the same time with some really cool
So
people. Yeah.
I can agree more with that. That's the biggest thing I think for me is just the balance. Like they're not trying to overplay or do anything like that. It's like the perfect amount of reps and a perfect amount of like responsibility and softball and training, but it's also super fun. You have enough downtime to actually rest, to go eat good food, to explore new cities and do all the fun things. And I've had friends that have been involved in all three of the sister leagues in California, Texas, and Tennessee, and they have all loved the experience and just absolutely it's been the same feel, the sisterhood, the bonding, like the recharging of the batteries. Like every league so far that I've talked to with people who've ran the leagues, coached in the leagues, or played in the leagues has agreed. They're like, this is the best decision I made. And the amount of returners is a good testament, and just the amount of love people have shown who have played in the league and coached in it, like it's unreal. And it changes you in a very good way. And it's especially if you are a player who is going to have to step up next year and maybe you're coming off of an injury and you didn't get the reps that you needed and you're expected to step into a starting role, or you're chasing a starting role and want an edge and want to do things. Like, I'm telling you, go do it, because even if you feel tired at the end of the season, I can promise you it is the best decision that you will ever make. That's my PSA to the athletes,
Yeah.
because you know, every athlete that's come in and played that, like, it's changed them in such a positive way. And that's not just my team, that's across the board. And it's really something special. And it's hard to even describe unless you show up and do it. But it might be a little scary for some to hop on a plane and go across country or go to a city or town that they're not familiar with. But when I say make it your yes year, because I'm telling you that it is the best thing to say yes to ever, because it'll better you as a person, it'll better you as a player, and it's just fun.
Yeah. Yeah, great. I love that. That's, I think, a great way to describe it all. What would you say to a coach who maybe is iffy about sending their players? What would you say to them? Hey, you need to do this. Why?
I think just showing the benefits of what they're going to get out of it, and the fact that they still will get a nice break before that they have to like show up in the fall locker room. It's not like we're monopolizing an entire summer. We're able to give them really great focused work, and then they get to go home and get a little rest and do what else they need to do before they go back to school. I think the other thing too is just to let them know that we are on the same page, like that we're a team. Myself as a coach and any of the coaches in the league, like, I'm working with them, not against them. So there's definitely no desire to coach around them or what they're doing. It's about working with what they want. And like, how cool is that as a college coach that you could be like, my hitter's been struggling with this. I'm having a hard time breaking through to them. See if there's something you could do. Or like, maybe you say it differently, because I'm a big fan of like language is what helps things click. And maybe I just say something slightly different that makes the light bulb go off,
Mm-hmm.
that will make her more receptive to the rest of your coaching. Great. But I think that there's really no downside here for a coach wanting to send their players, or if they're on the fence, because as a coach, like if my players could actually go get live reps, I would so much rather that than knowing that they're not probably doing nearly the intensity or the work that they would want want to do.
Right.
And like you saw the facilities, like there's ability for fitness centers and weights so they can stay up on their strength and conditioning through the summer. They can do rehab and prehab for any of their medical issues or anything like that. And then they've got the joy of like just getting to play ball against really good people and getting to hone their craft. As a college coach, I would say do it. Just give them the freedom to do it if they want to. I don't ever believe you should force anyone to do anything, but I think that there's no reason coaches should not at least support the league. I have no idea why they wouldn't.
Yeah.
I don't actually know. So I would just say, hey, let them go learn and be and grow for you. That's the point. So we want to make every athlete better for the coach that's waiting for him back in the fall.
Right. Yeah, that's awesome. And I think too, an aspect of it that a lot of people don't think about because we are starting to build back up the pro leagues, but a lot of pro players right now played in these leagues. Like if you go and you look at the Vibe roster and the Spark roster, like there are a lot of girls who played in the Florida Gulf Coast League playing on these teams. So I think that really speaks to it as well. And I know Ryan for sure, if you played in the Florida Gulf Coast League, he's looking at you like he remembers you, like he wants you to play for him in the pros. If you really stand out and you show him that you're a good person and create that relationship and those things. So that's another aspect of it that you may want to consider is I could potentially get on this guy's roster and then play pro ball if that's part of the plan for me. That's another part of it that I think people don't really think about because the Vibe, this is year 4 of the Vibe. So still very new. The Spark, all of the teams are really new. So a lot of new things going on in the pro space too, but definitely something that you want to try and be a part of. If pro ball is your goal and you want to play in the US, obviously there are a lot of other options outside of the US, but if you want to play in the US, playing in the Florida Gulf Coast League or in the Lone Star League or the Golden Bay, whatever, is a good opportunity for you to get your name in that database and make waves for potential opportunities in the future.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I totally agree.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I appreciate you so much for being on here, talking a little bit about the FGCL and the American Collegiate League, which holds all of the leagues. So all the leagues that we mentioned, they are all under the umbrella of the American Collegiate League. And so if you are a college player or a college coach and you are interested in getting better this summer, sending your girls to get better this summer, fall back in love with the game, then this is an opportunity that you do not want to miss. You can go to the American Collegiate League website. Then there will be little icons for each league that you can click on, and you can find out more information about all of those different leagues. All of them are very competitive. You can be a part of any of them and get better. It's not one is better than the other one. They're just all across the country. And if you want to stay close to home, maybe choose the one that's closer to you. If you want to go across the country and have a little adventure and go to Florida or go to California, then do that. There are a lot of different options for you. But Erica, thank you so much. If you want to play for Erica, she's the coach of the Pioneers in the Florida Gulf Coast League. And you can definitely try to get on her team as well if you want to. Yeah.
I could watch my Pioneers.
Yeah,
shirt.
I love it. I love it.
Right.
Yeah. Again, thank you so much for being on. I have enjoyed talking with you. Thank you, guys. I will see you again soon. Follow us on social media and check out our website at fastpitchunited.com. Don't forget to check out the American Collegiate League.